Here's a quick video showing you how to change a pressure switch on a Burisch BT390T air compressor. You'll need an adjustable spanner, a 12mm spanner, a 13 and a 14mm, a Phillips head screwdriver, a small wire brush and some X4550 sealant adhesive compound. This is available on gta.co.uk in a large bottle and a small sample bottle format. A hairdryer or a heat gun will also make things a lot easier. Before starting the process, make sure the compressor is unplugged from the power outlet. In addition to this, make sure all air is drained from the air vessel. Undo the pressure switch cover box with a Phillips head screwdriver as shown. Next, undo and remove this earth terminal. Undo the neutral power wire and the live power wire. Unscrew the wire compression gland using your fingers. Remove the power lead completely from the pressure switch as shown. Switching to the other side of the pressure switch, undo the earth terminal. As well as the neutral and live wire. Just like the other side, undo the compression gland fitting using your fingers. Using a 12mm spanner, undo the flare nut as shown. Gently bend the pipe away. Unscrew this outlet using an adjustable spanner. If it's quite tight, you can heat up the thread with a hairdryer or a heat gun, but be careful not to put too much heat into it as you could melt or damage something. Now you can undo the front assembly from the pressure switch. Use a 14mm spanner for this. Using a hairdryer or a heat gun, heat up this area of the pressure switch to soften up the compound. Be sure not to add too much heat as it could melt and damage something. Use your adjustable spanner to turn the pressure switch off the fitting as shown. It should now unscrew by hand. You can now remove the safety valve and the air pressure gauge from the pressure switch. Use a little bit of heat and a 13mm spanner to undo the safety valve. And next you can take the gauge off using a 14mm spanner. Brush away any old compound off the threaded flange. Apply some of the sealant adhesive and thread the pressure switch on like so. There will be no need to tighten this up with a wrench as the sealant adhesive will lock it in place and make sure it seals correctly. Push the dump tube back into position like so and tighten up the flare nut using a 12mm spanner and don't over tighten. Grab the power feed cable. This is the cable that had the plug attached which goes to the wall outlet. Push the wires through like so and tighten up the compression gland with your fingers. Undo the two terminals just a few turns as shown. Insert the blue wire neutral into the top terminal and the brown live wire into the bottom terminal as shown. Tighten these up. You can now undo the terminal completely for the earth wire. And tighten it back as shown. Tuck the earth wire away into the recess like this. Switching over to the other side of the pressure switch, we're going to reattach the motor feed wire. Push the 3 wires through the hole like so. And tighten the compression gland with your fingers. Attach the earth wire to the earth terminal as shown. And tighten. Undo the two terminals just a couple of turns. And insert the neutral blue wire on the top terminal and tighten, and the brown live wire at the bottom terminal and tighten. Tuck the wires away. The next step is to reinstall the safety valve, brush away any old compound, and put some fresh compound on the threads of the safety valve. Simply tighten this up by hand, there's no need to use a spanner. Wipe away any excess compound. The threads of the front assembly, add some compound, and thread it in by hand. Once again, there's no need to tighten this up with a spanner. Adjust into position and make sure it's straight. Brush clean the threads of the pressure gauge and add some compound. Thread it in by hand and make sure that the gauge is facing upwards when it finishes. Also, once again, there's no need to use a spanner to tighten this. And finally, brush the threads of the outlet coupling, add some compound, and thread in by hand. No need to tighten it up with a spanner. Reinstall the cover box on the pressure switch and tighten the top screw. Allow up to 8 hours for the compound adhesive to fully cure. Once fully cured, you can run the air compressor and verify that it's shutting off at the maximum rated vessel pressure.